Alright, what's up guys? So I'm gonna do my monthly update via YouTube. I also have a blog post about all this that I'll link to in the description, but I'm just gonna quickly go over. I'm trying to make this quick because my last update was like way too long. So let's see how fast we can do this. Alright, so the three things that really main things that happened last month were I launched a new product, I quit social media for the most part, and also just like updates on Starter Story, revenue, traffic, and like some plans that I have for the project and like things that have come up in the last month. All right, so first thing is I launched a new product. Pretty much all my time is dedicated to launching my new product, Pigeon, which for the last like 2 or 3 months, that has been what I've been working on. To give you guys like a little bit of a timeline of how it all happened, in October of last year, I had the idea for the product and I kept like thinking about it and wanting to do it, but it just didn't seem like the right time, or it just I didn't really have like a clear vision of what it was going to be in my head. And then towards the beginning of this year, I was thinking more about it, and then I got asked to go on this podcast interview thing for bloggers. So I decided that I was going to just like throw up a quick landing page and went on that podcast, and I got like 100 signups. So after that, I started like having meetings with people and seeing if they wanted this product, and also realizing that I needed the product as well. And after that, I committed to launching in a month, and then I launched it this month on May 9th was when the actual launch happened. The deadline that I set was like, looking back, it was like really aggressive, and I had to work like really hard to get it done. And it was definitely like probably too aggressive, but also I'm like kind of happy that I did it because it constrained my time, and if I didn't do it, it probably would have taken me an extra month or two to get it done. And like yeah, and like since what I've learned since launching it is all the things that I needed to add, or all the things that I added that weren't necessary for the product. So I'm glad that I got it done and into customers' hands, and everything just happened a lot faster because I did that. My goal with this was to, instead of just launching it to the public, I wanted to just have a very small group of customers using it and slowly grow from there. And so I was able to get 7 customers, and then since I launched this month, I added 1 more customer since then. So right now I have 8 customers that are all paid customers. So yeah, after I launched it, that was earlier in the month, and then I spent like most of my time building features, adding like some really big features for the product, such as like automated follow-ups. So you can follow up with people via email in an automated manner, which is like really big thing for Starter Story. And then also like a mail merge feature, which is like you can mass email people from the Gmail dashboard. Pretty nice to have a small set of customers because the product is sort of buggy. There's no documentation for the product, and it's not the best UI in the world. So sometimes like customers are like trying to figure out how to use it. So I'll be like hopping on calls with them, or jumping on a screen share with them for them to give me advice or feature requests or something like that for the product, which has been really cool. And like if there was a lot of people, I wouldn't be able to manage something like that. So that's been interesting, and like it's cool to see people actually using your product that you made, like an actual tool that you made, to improve their business or their processes or whatever. So that's been like super cool. Longer term plans for the product though is right now I'm gonna focus on the niche of like content creators and bloggers. That's how I wanna start to get customers, because I'm kind of doing it in this way of like go so wide, but like go narrow first. But like my goal is to build something that's similar to like an Airtable type product, or like Notion or Streak, but it's like a spreadsheet product that's built inside Gmail. So you can keep track of all your leads or whatever you track inside Gmail in this kind of spreadsheet form, but also have like really tight integrations with email. For example, like automated follow-ups and mail merge and things like that. So I'll include some like screenshots of the product in this video. There's also in the blog post as well, so you can kind of see like what it means and what it looks like. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, quitting social media. Earlier in the month, I decided that I'm gonna take a break from social media, specifically having issues with Twitter and just not being focused and just not really like enjoying being on social media at all. So I decided to just quit and stop and see what would happen. and I'm not gonna like say that it like changed everything, but I will say that like the benefits have been pretty interesting. So here's like one thing that I noticed, and it's something that you only notice like after you do it, but like every time I finish a task before, when I was on social media, or when I would get stuck on a task or like something was hard or something like that, I would just like pop open a new tab on Twitter, browse it for like 5 minutes, and then, you know, go back to work or something like that. Or, you know, maybe you get sidetracked after seeing something and then you're on it for 5 to 10 minutes. When you don't have the, when you prevent yourself from going on Twitter or any other social media, you don't do that. And like, because you don't go to that, there's really nothing else to do. There's really no other, you know, you're not going on Facebook, you're not going on anything. Or if you're stuck or something like that, you just like power through it, which is something that's like really awesome, because I could get so much more done and just like feel like I'm getting things, like I'm setting things that I want to get done and I'm just getting them done, and not like I'm feeling more motivated to do them rather than like they're just things I need to do in between my social media breaks. And then the other thing that I noticed is if you don't fill your time with social media, like say you're just like standing in a line and you browse Twitter, or you know, you get home and you just pull up Twitter or Instagram or whatever. If you don't do that, if you don't have the ability to do that, you fill your time, like your free time, with better activities. And for me, that was reading and listening to audiobooks. I like spent so much more time listening to audiobooks. I'm not a big reader or anything like that, but in the last month I read like 6 or 7 different books, or like mostly audiobooks, but I've never done anything like that in my life, which was like really awesome, I thought. I also feel like, and I'm gonna talk about this maybe in another video, but the reading books has been awesome because I feel like I've actually been learning stuff, whereas like Twitter, you feel like you learn things, like you feel like you're getting knowledge, but then it's not really like, it's not at a deep enough level that you feel that you really learn anything like you would learn from a book. And I've read some like really, really good books in the last month, and I actually feel like I've gained insightful knowledge from these books, where that's not something that, it's not the same as what I felt even if I read like a really good tweet storm, whatever. Yeah, so that's that. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is Starter Story. These are just updates on like traffic and stuff like that. But I also, now that Pigeon is launched, I'm ready to like start putting more work into Starter Story. Because Pigeon is launched, it's going to be easier for me to scale Starter Story and grow it more. And now I'm finally back in the place where I want to put more of my time into that project, because I'll talk about that. So as far as content, published 32 pieces of content, 32 interviews, or 31 interviews and a blog post. That's pretty standard. Traffic, 70,000 visitors, over 50,000 uniques, and almost 100,000 page views. And that was the biggest month of traffic that I ever had. And also is interesting because there was no spike, like there was no like Hacker News article or anything that went viral. All that's really consistent traffic, which is great. It's like, that is, to have my biggest month be a consistent month is a really good feeling. That means that, you know, it's not gonna just go down next month. Email list grew by 965 email subscribers, and that list is now at 6.3 thousand. And the list is growing at like 1,000 per month now, which is really crazy to think about when I look back and was getting like 1 email subscriber a day, or like I remember when I had 25 email subscribers, and I thought that was cool. And it's just crazy to think about that now. So revenue for the last month was also the biggest. It's not like much bigger than last month, but it was a slight growth, $4,244. That's the best we've done. So the bulk of the, and I'm gonna break down the revenue. So the bulk of the revenue comes from the sponsor, Klaviyo, and they have a exclusive deal where they own all inventory on the site and the newsletter. So they have the front page ad, they have an ad on the article pages, they have an ad on the tools page, and they have an ad on the newsletter. So that's an exclusive deal that I made many months ago, so there's nothing really different about that. I don't accept new advertisements or promotions at the moment. So although that's most of the revenue, that's like, I can't take any other advertisements because of that. So the next the next revenue source is the premium membership. So if you sign up for the premium membership, you can get early access to interviews. Revenue for that was $517.28. And overall, I think that, this is something that I've been testing out and not really advertising so much on the site. And it's doing okay. I started it like 5 months ago or something like that. So it's growing by about $100 a month. But I think I'm gonna start putting a little bit more work into this and adding the ups, because right now the upsell is really only on the front page. I'm gonna add the upsell to a few more places on this website that get more traffic and also drive more traffic to it. I'm also gonna try to add more value to the program, so add more reasons why people will wanna sign up. And then also I'm thinking about trying out like a lifetime membership instead of a monthly membership and see what happens, maybe just a trial. I don't know if that'll be next month, but we'll see. The next revenue source is Amazon affiliate links. That's $52.60. And most of that is really low commission because it's books. Even though there's like 1,000 clicks, it's only like $52. So when people sometimes overstate the money you can make on the Amazon affiliate program, you can look at my numbers to see that it's really not that great. The other one is the Shopify affiliate program, which I made $174 last month, and that's kind of high for what I usually make. But that also got me thinking a little bit more about affiliate links. I think I'm going to start looking into more affiliate links because I have so many tools that are mentioned on the website. I want to start, because my traffic is getting to that point, I think that I should at least start adding these affiliate programs because I think it can add up. My philosophy on that always before has been like, just don't worry about it now. It's probably not worth your time. But now I'm starting to think that it's might be worth a try, at least for some of the bigger affiliate programs that I can place. And for some of my pages that are more trafficked. For example, I have some pages in Google that get viewed 1,000 times per week. So if I add affiliate links to those programs, that would be the best. That's like the best place to start, is the most trafficked pages, and then work from there. All right, so now on to Starter Story plans. I've been thinking a lot about like what I want to do on the future of Starter Story, and now that the pigeon stuff is sort of out of the way, I mean, that's still going to be my main thing going forward. I can now put a little bit more time into like growing and making Starter Story better and bigger. So my goals so here's my sort of plan to do that. The first thing I'm going to focus on is more content. So I'm doing daily interviews, and now I want to start scaling that up to 2 interviews per day, and probably hopefully get there within the next 2 months. And then other thing I'm gonna do is start outsourcing, which I've already started, which I'm gonna talk about. I want to land bigger sponsors, or like bigger deals for the sponsors, and then also want to grow the community features of the website. So I want to make more content on the website, but I also want to, I know I can do that, but I need to make sure that I do it where I don't have to work harder or more hours to get it done. So now I'm focused on working a little bit smarter, and building more automation and bringing on actual freelancers to help with the content, or at least some of the like editing and revising and email stuff. The goal is always just like systemize the processes as much as possible. That's what's really worked for me in the past, and get up to more than 60 interviews per month. Then when I get to 60, I'm gonna start focusing on different types of content. I mostly do interviews now, but I wanna start focusing a little bit more on blog posts and other types of content that will maybe perform better in search engines, and also give some diversity to the website because it's mostly interviews right now. So once I can get that kind of systemized, and then once I come up with an idea for a new type of content, I'm gonna test it out, and then if it works, then I'm going to systemize and automate that by outsourcing and building automation, and then try to rinse and repeat that cycle. So my goal is always to be, because I'm only one person, my goal is to figure out how I can add process and automation to adding more content on a normal basis. So yeah, some ideas for like new content on Starter Story, but that's still probably a few months out. So then the next thing is outsourcing, which I talked about a little bit, but I read this book called Start Small, Stay Small by Rob Walling. It's a really good book, recommend it, but and he has some interesting stuff to say about freelancers, which I talked about in my last video, but I'm not going to go into it, but he basically convinced me that I need to learn how to outsource, and he talks about how it's a learned skill and how it's something that I kind of realized that I need to do it to grow. If I'm not going to hire like a team or something like that, I need to start figuring out how to do it. So in the last month, I spent actually a good amount of time hiring and testing out freelancers on Upwork. It's still a very new process for me, but I feel like I've learned a ton about it, and I even found some people that are like pretty good, and I'd like to bring on, like to do more stuff. And hopefully I'll have more to talk. I think it's really exciting that it's working. I'm just excited to see what will happen with that, and like also excited to learn more about it and hopefully make a video or write something about that as well, because I think other people could use it. The next thing is land bigger sponsors and new monetization methods. So the website, so my big community sponsor deal with Klaviyo is coming up to an end in the next few months. That means that I either have to renew or find new sponsors or come up with different monetization models. But I think that, the site has grown a lot since I made that deal. The deal was late last year. So I think I have the opportunity to renew and possibly increase the amount, and also bring new sponsors on. I'm thinking about maybe doing like multiple sponsors, something like that. All of it's really up in the air and I have no idea what I'm doing. Also, these kinds of deals are not like super easy to land and negotiate, and they require meetings. So I've been thinking a lot about that and like starting that process. As I kind of got to get started now. And I also read this book called Never Split the Difference, which is about negotiation, which I think was really interesting. And hopefully can use some of the things I learned there and also just become a better negotiator. Learning how to make deals and how all this works, I feel like that's something that I personally want to improve on for later in life when I'm making bigger deals or whatever. The last part of growth for Starter Story is I want to grow the community side of it. I finally feel that the traffic is at a point where I can do that, and it's not going to be like so much pulling teeth to get the community going. I have a small like join link in the top, the toolbar of Starter Story, and that gets like 200 people signed up, and actually I think it's more than that, like 300 to 350 per month. So I barely even promote that, but it gets people signed up. So, and that doesn't really do anything now, but I want to improve that. So I'm going to start slowly improving that process, and eventually want to have a forum or at least some sort of user-generated content on the website, because I feel that user-generated content is really the only true long-term solution, and I can't just be pumping out content for the rest of my life. So that's kind of the long-term goal of that. Okay, that's pretty much it. So yeah, launched new product. That's all super new, super exciting, and taking most of my time. Quit social media, which has been awesome, and Starter Story is exciting, and it's an exciting time. All right, see you next month. Oh, I have a new video next week, I think, maybe. All right, peace.